Buildaid Media, powered by builders and supported by Mix 93.8 FM and SA Garden and Home, are proud to bring you this Homeowner Workshop series. Throughout this 10-part series, we will be showcasing a wide variety of industry specialists to ensure a positive building experience. Paul Louw discusses innovative and high-tech walling solutions for today's ever-changing modern lifestyle and energy-efficient regulations. Your host is Graham Alexander from Buildaid Media.
Who is Gyproc, Paul?
Well, Graham, Gyproc is part of the Saint-Gobain group. We've been in business for an incredible 351 years, and that started in France, and we dotted all over the world. But Saint-Gobain Gyproc is a business that's involved in plasterboard and the systems around plasterboard for walls, for ceilings, and for most anything that you can imagine. Predominantly in internal applications, but as technology is evolving and working with our sister company such as Weber and Isova, we have systems now that will take you right through the wall. You have a new ecologically friendly, light environmental impact building solution for South Africa and following the trend adopted in the United States, Europe and Australia.
Paul, while we're talking about systems, what you guys offer, although you manufacture boards and stays and whatever, describe your walling systems to us.
I think one of the key things when you look at lightweight building materials, you take the experience that you have and you isolate it into the space that you've known in your business. And that's where some of the issues around drywalling and perceptions come. Now, drywalling systems are in fact a range of solutions for everyday challenges. Let's speak about your home and the home that you're about to build or considering planning. If you have a look at various stages of the build, there are things that need to be considered. And one of those, for example, is moisture. If you have your kitchen, your bathroom, one of the key challenges that you have when looking at that whole package is how am I going to handle moisture, the transmission thereof, how I'm going to deal with it, and how am I going to construct that area so that it's healthy, it looks good, performs as I want it to do. And it is in the space that Saint-Gobain Gyproc has unique solutions in a system. So let's speak first of all about your general area. When you have a look at any room, and particularly in your home, we want to speak about multiple comforts. Multiple comforts include your acoustic comfort. I'm sure all of you have been in a hotel room late at night and the shenanigans next door you've heard. Not unfamiliar. Or the teenager with the latest hits and you trying to do something else. Now, with our acoustic wall solutions, you can overcome much of this. You have a situation, for example, where you can drop down by as much as 60 decibels through the wall. But it's important that it is a system. So what we have is we have a wall frame of special steel. It's not just any steel, but it is corrosion resistant steel. It has specific flexing properties, and to that on the one side we do plasterboard, gypsum board that has particular properties. In the cavity, we put glass wool insulation, which does two things. One, it provides acoustic comfort. In other words, it absorbs sound. And then secondly, as part of the total package, that glass wool gives you thermal comfort and it keeps stable. Then we go to the other side of the wall. And then we can put a multitude of boards. So on the one side, for example, you will be wanting to hang your new flat screen television that you're so proud of, but you think, I can't do that. I can't do that on a drywall. In the office, it doesn't work. Well, in the office, it does work when it's planned correctly, but in the domestic environment, we have very specific high-performance walls, and one of those is a product called Habito. And this drywall is impact resistant, it's fire resistant, and you can take your large flat screen television and you simply countersink your screws as you would in a plaster wall, but you don't need the drill, which is really good news, and it works for you. One of the crucial aspects of our systems is that they are a system. So you have components. You have the track, which goes on the floor and on the ceiling. Then you have the studs, which run between, and then you have your boards. You have screws, you have plasters, and you have tape. You put this all together, and it's correctly installed. Very important with drywalling is the overall experience is dependent on how it was installed. And I'm going to speak about that a little bit later. So we have also a fire-resistant solution. By its very nature, drywall is not combustible. The only portion of a drywall that is combustible is the paper that sandwiches it. But it is low combustible paper. So you can have in your house a wall that will resist fire for 30 minutes, and that we seldom do. Typically, we start at 60 minutes and we go through to 180 minutes of fire protection, which is crucial because we're not saying your house is not going to burn, but what we are saying to you is, in the case of a fire, you know that you can exit that property, you can exit that house safely in good time, and your structure stands. We know all too often that there are tragedies that are caused by domestic fire, and it happens so quickly in places like your kitchen, places like your garage. And for these particular areas, we can have bespoke solutions for your particular need.
Steel frame housing in South Africa, Paul, I mean, steel frame's been around since the beginning of time. But in South Africa, it's still a relatively, I wouldn't say new, but maybe an unknown solution or a way of building. Is that something that's improving, the awareness?
Graham, the steel frame space is slowly developing. It's often seen in the high end of residential development, particularly where people really want to express themselves with a new look, a different way, a architecturally innovative design. So it hasn't yet filtered down to the bulk of residential building. I think one of the issues there, of course, is that while it is a frame and it's pre-prepared and brought on site, it requires a lot of planning, and there are certain perceptions in the market that something that is just a frame and put up is not going to be as good as a solid block that's been put down brick by brick type of construction. So it is gaining acceptance, but I think more importantly than pure steel frame construction, we're seeing the emergence of hybrid steel frame, where you have an outside, which is traditional brick, and your inside walls are now moving towards either load-bearing or non-load-bearing steel construction.
Just to mention something, Paul, somebody spoke to me in the foyer, and I'm sure there are a lot of people here altering homes. If you're using one of these walling systems, you don't need to put foundations under it. So if you want to knock a wall down in your bedroom and move it to there with a brick wall, you would need to speak to an engineer whether that surface bed can hold the wall up. Obviously, with a lightweight wall, it's a bit more flexible. Paul, introducing the system, or these systems that you're talking about, I would guess your target would be to architects. But when it comes to building contractors who ultimately are involved with this structure, particularly in a hybrid structure, and the homeowner, how do they find out about this stuff?
Well, I think you ask a really appropriate question. How do you find out about it? Of course, we're moving into a media space and everything is out there on the internet. The Saint-Gobain Gyproc site at gyproc.co.za is there. We have illustrations, technical details, how to. You can go visit YouTube. We have a number of clips on YouTube that start right at the beginning. What is drywall? What are the components? How to assemble it so that you've got familiarity. In no way do I propose that you try and do drywalling yourself. That's not something that you should try and do. Trust me. Before I was in this business, I tried it once. It was a dismal failure. Don't do it. However, there are specialist contractors. You typically find them in the ceiling and partition space that have attended training courses by people like Saint-Gobain Gyproc and practice it on a daily basis. It is a craft, particularly when it comes to plastering. There's nothing quite as wonderful as seeing a beautiful skimmed finish. And all that information and how to and where to and get all the components for these systems is available from our website. And we also have a helpline that you can contact, and the details of that are available on our website.
Paul, before we go on to a project called Stand 47, just to make it clear that what we are talking about is another system. So the contractor arrives with the boards and the metal and puts the project in. As you said, even if you know a bit about building, it's not a DIY project. You need the right tools and so on. So like the roofs we talked about, the concrete earlier on, the kitchen that we mentioned, remember the Easy Life guys are here, walling systems, one contractor, one price, one guarantee. It's the way to plan, it's also the way to build.
So Stand 47 was our move to show people in Gauteng what lightweight building structures are all about. We took a brave decision to go and partner with Monaghan Farm, and in this beautiful setting just north of Lanseria, we built a house. Now, what's very important about Stand 47, Graham, and everybody here today, is that it is not a once-off project. This is our commitment to sharing with South African society the way that we see your home evolving and being a multi-comfort space. Now, Stand 47 is entirely steel frame construction. You'll have a look at the photographs and you'll actually see some rock cladding. It's steel frame and yet it is rock. This project was built and developed to evolve. Inside, I don't have an interior photograph to share with you, but it has a mono slab and it has two areas. It has a wet area and a dry area. And I've spoken about the various wall systems. These walling systems are in there. And at a point in time, as a family evolves, we can move the walls. When you move a dry wall, it's not like a traditional mortar wall. It's a dry system. So you don't have the building rubble that you think you're going to have. With a correct contractor, they can come in and reconfigure a room or two all in a day. As simple as that. And this is a living example of that. But of course, when we think about multi-comfort, we've got to think of a number of facets of that. We've got to think about acoustic comfort. We've got to think about thermal comfort. And what we did with Stand 47 was we ran competitions and invited people, normal Gauteng residents, to spend a weekend in Stand 47 and live there and experience it. Because when you walk into one of these homes, there is a little magic that happens. We have special products like Active Air, which absorbs formaldehyde from the environment. This comes from carpets. Volatile organic compounds are in our everyday life. You find it in the plastics that our food comes packed in. You find it in your furniture packaging. You find it all over the place. But when you're in these homes, the walls actually can absorb these compounds, and it gives you fresh air. This home is wonderfully thermally stable. So you come in, and its temperature never moves by more than 2 or 3 degrees. If it's cold day, you start the fireplace or you switch on a heater, whatever the case might be that you choose to warm the place. Pretty soon you're switching it off because the home is thermally stable. Sound, you sit in the lounge, watch TV, and the children are next door in the first bedroom. They can't hear you because the system was designed to cocoon you. So Stand 47, which unfortunately now has reverted to the owners, and they are living there. Its story has come to an end, but it has its own website, and it has its own Facebook page. And I encourage you to take a few moments, either on Facebook or on a browser, and go and visit Stand 47. The story is there. And we continue with this. We've got a new exciting project in the Western Cape with the Valdevie estate, where we will be doing this for folk in the Western Cape.
Gyproc have an office full of professionals, architects, engineers, and so on. So if you're designing a bulkhead in your kitchen or you want something special done, they'll do it for you for free. Remember what we said about using specialists. Walling systems, I mean, we know the answer to the question, but I need to ask it. Okay. We're talking about your systems can handle concrete roof tiles or shed-type roofs, etc.
I think the most important thing to understand is that these particular walling systems that we're speaking about are non-load bearing. So they demarcate, they partition areas. They are not designed for you to put a second floor on, a mezzanine floor, or a roof.
If you want to put a roof on it, and we're talking about the external walls now, would the framework then be designed to accommodate the roof?
That is correct. The focus then you move to steel frame system building, and it can either be heavy duty, which you will find in tall commercial buildings, or the lightweight steel framing that we speak about in 1 or 2 story buildings. And into that, we put our portion.
Thanks for joining us. If you would like to watch any more of the workshops in the Homeowner series, follow the Buildaid YouTube channel or visit our website, buildaid.co.za, where you can view a full range of our product offering. To book your seat at our next workshop, visit caxtonevents.co.za. Don't forget to tune in to Mix 93.8 FM Wednesday evenings from 6 p.m. to 7 p.m. to listen to the Buildaid Show.